If you're anything like me, you're fascinated by the natural world. It's hard not to be. From rolling green forests to geological wonders to oceans and every ecosystem in between, we are situated in a magnificent, delicate web of life. I grew up in Utah, so I've spent a good amount of my life outside. One of the best ways I found to chronicle and keep track of my adventures is keeping a field guide, a notebook in which I could write down notes, stories, facts, and observations about my environment. I'll break down all the necessary steps in creating a guide that can be used to help record your own natural experiences in a fully customizable way. When I travel to a new place, I always bring my travel journal with me, where I write extensively about the trip. My field guide differs in that it's a log dedicated to things I want to compile a guide to. My travel journal is more about documentation, whereas my guide is more about having something to reference as I build and continue to engage with the ecosystem around me. So let's say I see a bird, a cute little sparrow that comes to my roof sometimes. This is a California towhee. I'll start by adding an illustration of the bird. I find it very important to include drawings for reference. It makes it easier to identify other birds when you have a thorough catalog and can compare them. The illustration doesn't have to be detailed, as long as they include specific, important information about what you're documenting. This little guy has a great long tail and legs that differentiates him from other sparrows, so it's important to showcase that. I then write its colloquial name and scientific name. I also like to include facts about the bird, its habitat, what it eats, how it behaves, stuff of the sort. On the left-hand side, I include an entry about where and when I saw the bird or any other stories about it. I even included what the flight pattern looks like and drew some seeds to show what the bird eats. Detailed drawings like these are also fun to add. Small birds like the towhee are drastically different from birds of prey, which is why drawing is so important. One of my favorite birds is a peregrine falcon, and the ones that live atop the Campanile in Berkeley are great to go observe. The peregrine falcon's facial features are very important to its identification. Raptors have large eyes to spot prey, and these birds have distinct feathers and beaks. Focusing on these features helps with identifying differences between peregrine falcons and other falcons that I'll add to my guide as I spot them. If you have samples that you collect in the field, those are great to include in your guide. They give tangible context to what you're documenting and help build a thorough index. This is especially helpful if you're documenting plants or flowers, but remember to always be mindful of what you're taking from the environment. I also include an illustration of the bird in flight, because the shape of the bird and its underside markings are telltale signs whether you have a falcon or other raptor on your hand. Falcons' wing and tail shapes are dead giveaways because they're slender, whereas hawks and eagles have large, more fanned-out wings and tails. Scales for size are also nice, especially when comparing large and small birds. On this page, I also included facts about the bird and its flight patterns, significant to how it hunts prey. I drew its eggs since peregrines nest on gravel or rock, which is distinct from other birds. What fascinates me about birds is that they're so accessible. They are everywhere you go, and once you start looking for them, the whole world becomes a bit more vibrant. Birds are fantastic reminders that we are part of the environment, not separated from it, which is why it's so important to protect and preserve our natural world. After all, field guides are only useful if you have natural places to use them in.